Hi, this is Dr. Grande. I hope you find this video useful. If that's the case, please like it and subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Hello, Frank. Hello, Sarah. How you doing today?
Doing well.
Good.
Doing well?
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that you've come in because you're having a little difficulty in your relationship.
That's
Can you
correct.
tell me about that?
So basically, it's been getting a little bit worse since we got married. We got married about 1.5 years ago, and the woman that I married, I thought we were both kind of independent people, and I thought that we would kind of go our separate ways, do our own thing like we used to in college. But it's kind of gotten to the point now where it's like I just want my own personal space, and I kind of want to be left alone sometimes.
All right, so you're looking for independence in your relationship. And how long have you been together?
About a year. I mean, we just got married 1.5 years ago, but we've been dating for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay, so total of 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
married for 1.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when, Frank, when did you notice what you kind of think of as the problem, like the independence, lack of independence?
I guess kind of once we got married. After that, it seemed like, we were spending all of our time together, which, at first was great because we were newlyweds, we loved spending time together and everything. But I guess probably about, 6 months to a year after we first got married, it's kind of, progressed to the point where, now it's just kind of becoming like a burden that whatever I do, she's always there with me. We're always spending every waking moment together, and sometimes it's just nice to have my own personal space and freedom,
All right, so you're looking for that freedom. Sarah, does this kind of resonate with you, what Frank is saying?
I just feel like, we're newlyweds, and I want to spend time with him, and I feel like he doesn't want that. He wants to be with his friends, doesn't want me around. I just sometimes don't feel wanted, and he's so angry at me. I can tell.
All right, can you tell him that? You just told me.
I just feel like I want to feel wanted, and I don't feel that way. I just feel like you're so angry with me, and the truth is that I just want to spend time with you and just do everything with you.
So Frank, what's it like to hear that?
It kind of reminds me of how I used to be, like she said, we've been dating for 4 or 5 years, and back then it wasn't a problem. She could go out and do her own thing, I could go out and do my own thing, and didn't have to worry about each other. But now that we're spending every moment together, and it's just, I'm always worried about her, she's always worried about me. And when I do get the chance to go hang out with some friends or something like that, it always feels like I have pressure on me because I should be with her, or she should be there with me, and I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing by trying to be independent and try to go do things by myself.
And you feel guilty.
I do.
So Sarah, do you sense that in Frank, that he feels guilty about that?
No, I just feel like he's pushing me away.
You feel rejected?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this has happened, the same experience for both of you, like your feeling of rejection and your feeling of wanting freedom. This has happened right from the beginning of the marriage, or a little bit after?
It was a little bit after.
Yeah.
So like I said, probably like the first 6 months to a year, it was really good. But then recently it's kind of been a burden, just always spending time together and trying to make amends and try not to get into fights because we're always spending so much time together.
All right, so you mentioned that the 6 months to a year. Has it been the same for you? Like, was the beginning of the marriage something different than what you have now?
I think that it was just, we're still in the, after the wedding and honeymoon, and everything was great, and a couple of months after, and then that's when it started later on, so.
All right, so for you, a couple months after that initial phase?
Yeah.
All right. So around the same time you started experiencing this difficulty in the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me try to sum it up, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you want more space.
Yeah, I do.
Frank. And Sarah, you feel like this desire to have space is really kind of like a rejection or pushing it away.
I just feel like he wants space all the time.
Okay, are you okay with some space?
I think so. Maybe it's something we could try and can work on next time.
No, you don't
But
seem real certain.
I don't know, I just maybe kind of get anxiety a little bit when he's gone. I feel like I need to be with him.
So maybe this idea of space isn't really something you feel will work for you.
I mean, I want to try to make our marriage work.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, honestly, if I can say that I do think it'll work, or I want to try.
All right. So you want to try to address Frank's concerns about the space.
Yes.
Yeah. But you seem apprehensive about it.
I'm not really sure how it's gonna play out, but maybe it's something we could try. Like if he wants to go out with your friends, and some night maybe next week, and then see how it makes me feel. I know it's maybe something I can work on.
All right. So maybe just experiment with it.
Mhm.
Try it for one night
Right.
and see what happens. So in the year and a half you've been married, has there ever been a night when you've gone out by yourself?
Yeah, there's been a couple, like especially earlier on, which was nice, just, getting to see old friends and, our old college friends. Like, of course, we attended, events together, like seeing old friends and everything like that. But there's been a few times, not more than I can count on both my hands, but there's been a few times where I've, gone out and just had like, a guy's night or something.
Okay, and what happened, like in terms of like between you?
So, just getting out of the house is basically the hardest part.
Mm-hmm.
Just finding a way to ensure her that, it'll be okay. I'm going to be back home later on in the night, that she doesn't need to worry about me. If I have any trouble or anything pops up that I need her help, I'll let her know. And, just knowing that I love her and telling her that I love her and making sure that she knows that I'll be back. But, sometimes it's hard because she just gets upset when I tell her that I'm leaving, and she doesn't want me to go, and she would rather me stay or even take her with me. And, I don't want to be the only guy that shows up with my wife. Everybody else left their wives at home also, so I don't want to be the odd man out.
All right, so this is really an experiment that's already been tried.
Tried
in a
it once
sense.
or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reason to believe that if you try it next week, it'll be different?
I guess not.
You don't think so, Frank?
Well,
Maybe not. Maybe.
yeah, I mean, we've been doing it, the past couple months, but it seems like every time we do it, it's the same result. It's her getting worried about me, and me trying to find a way to assure her that it's going to be okay, and that we're still married, we're still in love, everything like that. But it's just, I really want my space, and it seems like sometimes I just can't get out of her grip.
All right, Sarah, what do you think about that?
I just feel like lately on the weekends he wants to be with his friends more, and I mean, that's when I want to go out to like movies or do something with him, like go on a date, and the weekend's over, he has to go to work. And
All right. So, in terms of the going out alone or going out with your friends,
Mhm.
right? Would it have to be on the weekend? Would it have something could happen during the week?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of my friends normally go out during the week because, they have their families and everything to take care of on the weekends. So, yeah, I could definitely go out some night during the week.
Okay, so you could agree, the both of you could agree to that as kind of terms of this behavioral experiment, where on the weekends, you'll spend those weekends together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think we could try that.
Yeah. Because that was a concern you specifically brought up.
Mhm.
How about, Sarah, how about the times during the week? How do you feel about those?
Yeah, we could try to switch it up. I mean, we could try to go out during the weeks as opposed to the weekends, or he could try to go out with his friends during the week as opposed to the weekends.
You feel like you'd respond better to that? Would that be a better experience?
I feel like there'd be more of a balance. So, yeah, I do.
Something that you think that you could try next week? Yeah. So let's talk about when, because you've gone out before, and you said it was just getting out of the house that was the real challenge.
Right.
So walk me through. This really goes to both of you. Walk me through what happens when you're getting ready to leave, when you're planning to head out.
So, usually I'll get dressed, I'll let her know where I'm going, give her my cell phone number, somebody else's phone number in case my phone is off.
Mm-hmm.
Just basically tell her what we're going to do, whether we're going out to a bar, or, going to watch some sporting event or something like that. I would tell her what we're doing, just so she knows and knows where she can find me. But then after that, it seems like as soon as I assure her of what we're doing and when it's happening, when I'll be home, everything like that, it just seems like all the progress I made towards the front door kind of gets pulled back a little bit because, like, she doesn't want me to leave. I can see in her eyes that she's not very happy about me leaving her. And that kind of makes me feel guilty, because I don't want to leave her all alone. I want her to be more independent. Kind of want her to, if I'm going out, I would like her to go out as well. She still has tons of friends. We both have friends. We both have our social circles, and just kind of is frustrating when I can't go do my thing because she's always got to be with me.
All right. So ultimately, after all that, you do go, but you feel guilty.
Yes.
And do you have a good time?
Most of the time I do, sometimes I just can't get over the fact that, I have my wife at home who's upset at me, and that makes me upset. It's just a matter of finding the balance between, my independence and her, doing her own thing, because I would like her to do that as well.
All right. So sometimes you have a good time, sometimes you don't. You're worried about Sarah being home. How about when you come home?
When I come home, usually things go back to normal. I mean, we've definitely had our exchange of words after a few times of me coming back. But most of the time it goes back to normal, which, is fine. We're very loving, affectionate couple, so that's awesome. But, most of the time it's just overbearing.
All right. Is that how you see it, Sarah, the way Frank described it?
I just feel like things do go back to normal, but like inside I'm kind of like worrying about when the next time it's gonna happen. I get nervous when he tells me, like, he gives me someone else's phone number. What if something happens to my phone?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of is like, why would you lose your phone? I just think of all these things, and I don't.
So how about when he's out? Like, so after he's left, what are you thinking then?
Like, what is he doing with his friends? Like, is he someplace he shouldn't be because he's married, or is he talking to somebody else? So why does he not have his phone? Why do I have to call him on a different phone? Several different things.
You're anxious something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's been any reason for that thinking? Like, do you think there's any basis for thinking something bad's going to happen?
Absolutely not.
No.
No. I love Sarah, and the 5 years that we spent together have been great. It's just where we are now as opposed to where we first were and when we first got married. It's changed, and I would just like some independence, just like to be on my own sometimes, and I guess I don't always relay that well to her, and she doesn't understand why I want my space or I want to go hang out with my friends. But I've been trying to explain to her that it's a two-way street. It's not just all one way, and so we have to work on these issues, and that's why we came to you.
All right, so you're really frustrated by not being able to go out, but you're anxious about when he goes out. So we talked about the possibility of like an experiment where you go out. It sounds like we might run into the same difficulties you experienced before. What could we change to increase the chances of that experiment working?
Don't give me someone else's phone number. Such for starters. And just don't be out later than you say that you're coming back. It's not too late, but sometimes it's later than what you say. Sometimes I do call the other phone and there's no answer, so just, I don't know, be available when I call.
All right. So if you called when he was out, you'd want him to answer. Is that something that's normally possible?
Yeah. Most of the time, I'm very good at responding to her. Making sure that she knows I'm okay, making sure that she's okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's a compromise you'd be willing to make.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Do you need any other reassurances from Frank, Sarah?
No, I think he means what he says, and we can try this again under some different circumstances.
Right. Do you have a plan to call Frank, like when he's out, or is it something that you would do if you just felt the need to, or?
I have called a couple times on the different phone, and there's no response. So I hope that when I call again, I'll call his phone and he'll pick up.
Were you calling for some specific reason, though?
Just to talk to him, make sure everything was okay.
Just that reassurance that everything was going all right. Okay, so that seems reasonable to you, Frank?
I mean, I guess, but at the same time, like when I'm out doing my own thing, I kind of want that privacy and that, just being in the moment, because I know when I get back home, I'm back with you, and nothing's changed because I've always been with you. Like, we're still married. But when I'm out with my friends and, I'm getting a couple phone calls during, the night, over the course of the night, and it's having to deal with my wife and having to make sure that she knows I'm okay and everything like that, it gets a little frustrating. It's a little...
I mean, it could be a text, too. But...
Right. Would that be a good compromise if it was a text or two?
I guess that could work.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
better than a phone call.
Right, yeah.
So not ideal, but you can see how it might decrease your anxiety a bit.
Right.
And maybe work toward a little bit more freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So does that sound like an experiment you both can buy into?
We can try it.
I think so. We could try it.
You try it out? All right. So it's not a perfect plan, but it's one that, I would hope that we could be successful with. If you could, though, as you're going through it, maybe track what happens, right, from your own perspective, like what you were thinking when Frank left, what you were thinking when you left, how it went, how that separation kind of was conducted and what happened. Same thing while you're out, how many times you texted or if you called, and then what happened when you got back.
Right.
Okay.
Right, so just kind of, And you can keep a record of those things just independently. You know, you write it down, kind of your experience, and you write down your experience. And we'll come back next time. We'll, no matter what happens with it, we'll compare and kind of see what happened and how we could make adjustments to make it work even better. All right?
All right.
Does that sound like a plan?
It does.
It does.
All right, try that out, and I'll see you in a week.